Hey everyone, it's Veronica again. We're back for part two, and this is just going to cover the bare copper, or if you work with bare silver, bare brass, anything like that that you know is going to tarnish or oxidize on its own. And certainly if you have, liver of sulfur that you oxidize your work with, your wire work with. I have made three wrapped stones this morning, and so I'm going to show you those, and we're going to seal them. And but I do want to just go over in the beginning here to just reiterate what it is that we've used, and following the previous video. So again, we're going to have, this is the denatured alcohol. And again, this is that stuff that strips away oils and dirts and any residue off of pieces that you are trying to seal. So this stuff really, really stinks. So you don't want to leave it open for sure. You don't want to spill it because that smell will just permeate throughout the house. So to use very carefully, and you only need a little bit, and it dries extremely quickly. So within, seconds. So if you are cleaning your stuff, you know that you don't have to worry about waiting for it to dry before you seal. Okay. Then we have our Protect It Clear. Sorry about all this here, but this is Protect It Clear. There's a P under there, Protecta Clear, and this is from Everbright. This is the stuff that I use to seal all of my, all my jewelry and stuff that requires it, so that it prevents tarnishing, and it also makes your jewelry hypoallergenic, which is an amazing thing. It's self-leveling, and also it'll leave a nice, beautiful, smooth shine. All right. And then this would be optional. This is an acrylic sealer. It's a gloss finish. It's fast drying. It's non-yellowing. It seals, protects, and a lot of people use this on their jewelry, so that if you want to make sure that you really truly have something on there, these things will give super longevity to your jewelry. I mean years. And I wanted to show you a couple of those things. Now, on one of the pieces that I'm going to show you, all I did was add the Protect It Clear. I did not add any of this. And and I did it 3 years ago. So what you're going to see is it's still the same color, and just so you know that this stuff really truly works. And if you do it correctly, this is exactly what the result that you will get. All right, so yes, so this is something, obviously you want to read the directions on how to use it, okay, because this is something you're going to probably lay out all your stuff even after you use the Protect It Clear, and just, put it like out on your aluminum foil, or if you have a patio or something, and you have I don't know, something, maybe even wax paper or something like that, that you can, keep it at 6 to 12 inches away, and do a nice sweep. Don't leave chunks, and certainly don't do it in humid weather, wet weather. It has to be very dry out, and, or if you have a room that's properly ventilated, but if it's sunny out and dry, that is optimal, okay, for you to spray this, so that because what happens is this stuff will trap any moisture in the air, and you might get like a white film, it looks like, on there, and you definitely don't want that sealed, and especially after all your hard work. Okay. So just make sure it's dry out. If you are in a temperature controlled room that's properly ventilated for you to be working with these kinds of chemicals, then yes, I think then you're going to be okay. All right, so I'm back here. This is the one that I did 3 years ago, and I used the Protect It Clear. And as you can see, this is still gold. And this is just one of the iron ones. It's not the stainless steel, so they're not very strong. So you have to get those on there and keep them closed without bending them, because they, they're just the weak ones. And so I knew that this gold coating would come off, and so I sealed them. So as you can see, both sides. I did this 3 years ago. I did this jump ring 3 years ago because it is a gold plated. And as you can see here, in all of my wire wrapping into all of these little beads here, these are brass. And we all know that brass instantly, or within a week, you start seeing it turn brown, because it just, even though they have a coating on there, just because they have a coating does not mean it's non-tarnish. It does just turn. So because of the oxidation that's going on underneath, any of that gold plating that they put on there is so thin that it just cannot, it doesn't have a chance. So as you can see, these are still bright gold, okay? And they are the brass ones. I try to go with stainless steel, but this is what I had at the time. So this should tell you that this stuff works so well. And I also did this component here. This was in it, oh gosh, how many years ago, from a bargain bead box. And it's such a beautiful component. And I was like, and I just started smelling, I could smell that smell, that stuff that metal smells like. So I probably put like 6 coats on this, because sometimes that smell is so strong that you need several coatings to stop that smell from coming through. And when that happens, then I know for sure that the oxidation has been stopped in its tracks. Okay, so yeah, I always use this as an example when I want to show somebody that, yes, this stuff does work. And again, this is, I did not use the acrylic spray on there, obviously. It's kind of hard to do when you just have these tiny little pieces and things like that. So yes, I also coated these bead caps here. So, and so with the, and I showed you this in the last video. Okay. So what I wanted to just let you know, when you want to reseal something, although it should be good for years to come, if somebody is concerned, or you're concerned, or you just want to add another coating on just for peace of mind, when something that you have already sealed, obviously you don't want to use the denatured alcohol, because it will strip that away. And it just makes extra work for you, because you're going to have to make sure that you truly get every crack and crevice to get any of that sealant off, if that is what you plan on doing to reseal. But if you just use Dawn soap, that has got to be the best soap you can, because it won't leave residue behind. Of course, you have to rinse it off and rinse it thoroughly. But you don't want to use soaps that have lotions in it. You don't want to use soaps that have any kind of oils, essential oils or anything like that, because obviously that's what you're trying to avoid, is getting oils onto your thing. Once you've washed them and rinsed them thoroughly, let them dry, okay? If you have a towel that doesn't have lint or dirt or oils on them from your hands, like your dish towel, if you want to use a separate one just for that to dry it and get ahead of the time of the drying time, then great. Once you do that, then you can take one of these, cloths here, the microfibers, and I love this one. It's like that chamois cloth. And then you can take those, get all your fingerprints off and everything. Now, because this has a bail, I would more than likely take the bail off to reseal this entire thing, because I want to do the front and the back. And as you can see, you can't even tell that there's layers on here, including the part where the crystal is, because that is how amazing this stuff is. You can't tell, but yet it's there, it's protecting it. And so yeah, you'll want to take that, get all oils and things off. Same thing here. Now this one I resealed, and and this side, obviously, it's one of those that enameled. So you can if you want, but you don't really have to. I just did it because I want to avoid smudges. Okay. And the same thing with this. I just to have it, okay? And I resealed this one, and it's like you can't even tell. And even though this is stainless steel, I just sometimes I just want to do it. Okay. All right, so now these are the pieces that I did this morning. And so I don't need to take out my aluminum foil for this, because I'm going to, with something like these, it's one side and then you can flip it and do the other side. So in that case, as long as you're not glopping it on there, it shouldn't drip over the sides. So these three I did this morning, and it took quite some time. I started at 4, and so this is my wire work that I did here. So this here is an amethyst, and in fact, this came in, it's one of the dollies that came in with one of the subscription box for the orphanage, the Gemstone Orphanage. And so that was her little dolly. And so there is the amethyst. I hope that the lighting is showing this. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. So this is the front here, and I put some 11-0s right down here, because with doing wire work, you can manage to do things in such a way to hide any areas that are perhaps unsightly, or it's just, it's not going to be pleasing to the eye. And that's what I did here for that. So I used bare copper wire. Okay, so with bare copper wire, bare silver, bare brass, and things like that will oxidize, this is perfect for. So if you use any of those to do any wire work on here, then this is perfect. So what I did was I made these 3 this morning with bare copper wire. And this is a labradorite, this is onyx, and this is the amethyst. So with those, I then oxidized them and then used my Brillo pad to get that residue off and leave it with areas. As you can see, it gives it dimension. And this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful right here. Look at that. Look at that flash. Isn't that beautiful? So I just did a little weave, and I did a swirl there, and this is the back. I also put a little swirl there because, again, there's some areas, especially when you're doing, tying up your bale, that can look unsightly in the back. So I used a swirl to cover that area up. And so we can, now I already started sealing this one. And what I did was I sealed the entire thing. I even put it on the stone, because with this wire is so thin that your brush could easily, slip off, or you'll find that some might drip. So you might as well just cover the whole thing. And I did. So as you can see, there's no lines like nail polish might leave. Okay. And certainly you don't want to put nail polish on your stuff. And so this one I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm just going to do the whole thing, including the stone. And I've already cleaned these, but because I'm handling them, I'm going to make sure that I wipe it down again with this. And this one has yet to dry on the back. It's still drying on the back. So I will do this one after to seal it. So what I do here, you can do the same thing here. Okay, so that is the front, and that's the back. So usually when you're doing a moon stone, not the actual moonstone, but a stone that's shaped like a moon. One side isn't going to look the greatest, but you try, right? So when you do your wire work, if some of you don't do that, but if some of you do, just make sure any residue is off of there. And I know there are some areas that may be hard to get into, but if you could try to buff it. I use one of my, I have what is it called? A flex handle, and I use one of these to try to buff away as much as I can after I've already, oxidized it and neutralized it and all that. And then try to make sure there's minimal residue. So if you're still having that powdery residue on there, you're going to find that it's going to get on your brush. Okay. So this one I'm going to let that finish drying too, because this one I've already completed sealing. This one I still have to do this side. So this one we're going to do today. And as you can see, I don't have aluminum foil because I know that it's bright and it just burns your eyes if you're watching a big screen with this. Oh, and there's the back side. So again, doing doing a little swirl there to cover up, anything that might be unsightly when you are creating or connecting your bail. Okay. So I did that and I twisted this, and this is what's this one, a 20 gauge? Yes, I believe this was 20 gauge. Doesn't look much different than 21 gauge. But I believe this is a 20 gauge or 21 gauge. Oh, darn it, I forgot. Anyway, so I used that, and then I did I used my 24 gauge half round here. It's hard to work with half round, but just in certain areas. So anyway, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so let me wipe this off and I'll be right back, and we're just going to go ahead and seal that right here on camera. And I think that's pretty much going to be it. And then I'll just show the highlights. I'll just go over the highlights again from the previous video too. All right, so I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back here. Let me come in. Let's see. All right. I'm going to just come in so you can at least see it better here. Okay. And again, maybe one of these days I'll go over how I actually, because you have to sand some stuff out. I have some, things that I use on my flex shaft there to, maybe get out any nicks or anything that I might have done in my wire while making this. Plus, the buffing, is it buffing it? Polishing it. Okay. Anyway, so again, take your nail polish that's full of the protected clear, your nail polish bottle, and quite simple. Again, just make sure you don't have a whole lot. You want to get it off all sides, okay? And then just start going through the whole thing, and you're going to do one side, okay? You can go over those beads. Again, remember, it only benefits the beads that you have on here as well. So unless you have matte beads on there and you want to avoid putting shine to your matte beads, then do what you can to avoid those. Or you make your piece and then add your matte beads afterwards if you're going to use them in ways like this. Okay, because all I did was attached a 26 gauge dead soft wire, put on seed beads, and then just pulled it down and put it anchored it there. So that's just coming straight down. So if you want to do it in that way, you can. Okay, and then again, I'm going to come over here. You can go around that, but I am going to go and do the whole thing. Okay, and again, this is self-leveling, so you don't have to worry about Now, just be careful if you have like dust and fuzz on there, because you'll start to see the dust and fuzz in that sealant. So you definitely don't want that. So we're only going to do the top here. Okay. And when you know this is dry within an hour, flip it over and do the other side. Okay. And then, again, like I said, if it's sunny out and it's warm out, bring it outside, and this will be dry in probably less than, a half an hour. Okay, and then you can flip it over and do the other side. Now, if you want it to be fully cured after you're done, have it on one side. It'll be done in 4 hours, fully cured in the sun. And if you are going to, if you have something that's both sides, then of course you'll have to flip it over. So unless you're hanging it from somewhere and it's the sun is getting on both sides, that's fine too. But chances are you're probably going to lay it down, have one side, flip it over, and get the other side done. So yeah, I want to talk about the chain. It's one thing that I forgot, and I apologize. Let me get the chain that I had sealed the last time, and I didn't show you that, once they are sealed and everything, they're going to be stiff. So let me get those. I'll be right back, and we'll just go through the highlights and we'll be done. Okay. All right. Back for yes, I can talk today. Back for the pieces here that I did in the previous video. And I wanted to show you, because I sealed this, but if you look, let me come in closer. If you look at this, you see how some of them get stuck together and it's not doing a nice flow? You're just going to run your fingers through, and just break that seal. Kind of like sometimes when you get chain and they get stuck, it's because you got that tiny little bit of soldering in there, and that you can just kind of break it. Okay, break that tiny little bit of connection. Okay, so there you have your chain now is nice and sealed, and you don't have to worry about it being stiff as a stick. So as you can see here, the Coriana chain is stiff, and it's the same thing. So you just want to gently, break that seal. And with the Coriana chain, it might take a little bit more to do that. Okay. And it's a small piece, so that it's not going to, it's a chain that doesn't want to, it's not going to fold in half, because it's just the way that it's made. So as long as you know that you have the flow that you have prior to the seal, then you know that you're all set and ready to go and use your Coriana chain the way you should. Okay, so now see, now it moves freely. And same thing, this is the other one. I keep forgetting the name. It's gunmetal. Okay, so it's the same thing. You just want to back and forth. It's just breaking in between the joints. So as you can see, in between those little joints. And then now it's nice and sealed. And again, if you want to do this, especially with coated brass, because the brass itself will continue to tarnish. This is why I like to use stainless steel. So the stainless steel isn't going to oxidize, because it just doesn't tarnish. But the stuff on the outside will fade. So if I don't want it to fade, I use stainless steel, which is this, and then I'll use the sealant to keep that nice and bright of whatever color it is. Now this, again, this is a brass. This is not stainless steel. So you definitely want to have a few coatings on these. Okay, so, and I do have my regular stainless steel. This is my stainless steel in the gold, and I have this stainless steel. It's the same. This is the same as that. This is stainless steel, so I don't even need to seal this. So unless a customer prefers that, then yeah. But anything with brass or iron definitely needs sealant, and a whole lot more than you would if you had to do a stainless steel. So again, if you're going to wear these a lot, because your fingers will, or just wearing it will take off the coloring here. So to prevent that, put several layers onto your chain. And with bracelets that you're making, and you know that you have a lot to coat on there, like the bead caps, find, a place that you can hang it. So if you have like any S hooks that you have hanging off of the side of something, or perhaps that's what you use for your jewelry, or a little pin, and a cork board, um, or even just one of those pegboards that has your S hooks or whatever hooks that you have. Use that and do your sealant and hang them. So this way it's not laying on top of something, because there's going to be many parts within your piece that you choose to seal after you've already created it. This way it can air dry. And that's what I'll do with my necklaces, or my, any chain that I want to get done prior to making, or bracelets. I usually get those to hang. So unless I know that it's really not going to get onto the aluminum foil, then I'm just going to hang them up. But other than that, my little pieces like this, I'll have on my aluminum foil. That's just because what I do. But here it's safe, because as long as I'm not letting it drip, it shouldn't get onto my surface here. Okay, so I think that's it. So basically, just reminders, don't use the denatured alcohol on electroplated beads. Only use the Dawn to clean them. Make sure that it is rinsed thoroughly, and you can seal those after they are dry. Just make sure you remove all and any residue, dirt, oils, etc., from any of your pieces or your items you intend to seal. Um, Again, just use the Dawn dish detergent on things that you've already sealed and you just want to add another layer of sealant, or electroplated stuff, of course. You can hang your pieces or the stuff that you make with chain, and this will prevent sticking to the foil. And don't forget, this Protected Clear makes your jewelry hypoallergenic, and makes it a non-tarnishing piece. Also gives it, again, like I said in the beginning, a beautiful and a nice smooth shine. And if you are concerned, you're not sure, you can do a skin test, perhaps, somewhere like on the back of your arm, and just, do a swipe with your brush, and just see what happens. But again, if it's making your jewelry hypoallergenic, then you shouldn't have any problems with it on your skin. But then again, the difference between wet Protected Clear or dry Protected Clear can make a difference. So you may want to, I don't know, perhaps put this on something that you can put in your ear after it's dry, and then put it in your ear and see how you react to it from that. If you feel like, well, I got to put another layer on, then do that, because sometimes it may take several layers before your body won't react. Because like I said, if it is something that tarnishes and it still smells, then you know that you're going to need several layers, okay, just to really stop it in its tracks. All right, so I think that's it. If you have any questions, anything, please put them in the comment section. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability, because I don't know if I've covered everything, but I think I have, because I have questions that were given to me. that I've wanted to answer. And I hope that I've done that. And I hope that you have a beautiful day. I hope you've enjoyed this. And certainly, this to me is an amazing amount of knowledge for you guys if you are thinking of selling your stuff and to have repeat customers. I think that's important. If you want repeat customers, please really consider doing this. And I'm telling you, the investment and getting these things are truly, truly worth it. And you're going to find all the links to these products underneath. If there's something missing or you have any issues with the links, please leave a comment, let us know, or email Debbie or Steve, okay? And hopefully they'll leave their email, but it's I'll try to leave that for you as well. So if you need to contact them about anything, okay, anything about the links or whatever. All right. So everyone, I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful night or day wherever you are and whenever you're listening to this. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and God bless, and we'll see you, God willing, on the next video. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.